Hello and welcome. This is St. Louis Chess Club YouTube channel and National Master Roman Kozelov. And today we have a very special lecture dedicated to the memory of a great chess player, Carl Schlechter. Right now in our studio there's a December 27th evening time here in St. Louis, which means in Europe it's already, I think, 28th. And actually you can see there is no date, no day actually, right, on the screen. And I need to tell you that Schlechter died exactly 100 years ago. He died exactly at night, 27th to 28th night, somewhere in Budapest, in a clinic. And so, in memoriam, Carl Schlechter. Let's begin. And for beginning, actually, I have a little bit not really related quiz to the personality of great chess player. You can see our YouTube viewers. Can you take a look at this? So name the player and the year for position displayed on diagram. What was the move? And here in this move is white to move. Let's begin with it. Not very simple quiz comparing to what Grandmaster Kaban was doing to you right now. Let's check what do you know about this position. First of all, raise your hand if you ever seen this position. Okay, so I will give you a hint. In all positions in this quiz, there will be positions from world chess title matches and a very, very critical games which changed the history of chess. So,
Schlechter, Lasker, 1910.
Very good try. It is not. Of course, we will pay attention to Schlechter, Lasker, 1910. Of course, this is one of the reasons why we came here, but of course it's not. Actually, it is a little bit earlier. It's 1898, so this is the answer. Stanis Chigorin, Havana, 1892, game number 23. Right now, Stanis is winning 9-8, and they played for 10 wins. And actually, if Chigorin would win this position, Chigorin is white here. He has extra knight. And if Chigorin would win this game, they will have tie break. So that's how Chigorin was close to the world title, which he never got. And in this position, you can see that Chigorin played bishop b4. What do you think will happen after this? So think about it. Bishop to b4. And after that, actually, Chigorin, who had a long beard, almost tear out his beard away. He was very, very upset. No? What can we say? What do you think bishop b4 is given black opportunity to do? Rook to d5. You are taking pawn for free. No? Not a bad try. Is there any better ideas?
Rook to h2.
Rook takes h2, king g1, and
Rook on d to g2.
and second rook is going to g2, and this is checkmate. So actually, we need to say that Chigorin just blundered checkmate in 2 moves. I can just only imagine what has happened in his mind in this moment, like in Havana, in Cuba. It was pretty hot there, and probably he was just sitting and just crying somewhere under the palm tree. No, that's it. Next game. More complicated, probably, or maybe less complicated. First, what do you think about this position? White to move here. No, according to Grandmaster Bernhard Kaban, white has extra pawn, right? That's what I think. No, I have strong feeling that black cannot win this game, right? So it's either win or draw. And how many different moves do you think we have here in this position for white? How many different plans we can provide here? Yeah, no, probably king can run and just support this pawn, right? What are other options? Checks, all right, king comes closer to the pawn. Let's say king d7. To attack your rook, so and then you have to come back, right? Well, actually, I think there are no other ideas in this position at all. So king has to come to the pawn, support it to become a queen. And rook has to somehow, after that, protect it. I would play king g3 or king f3. I don't see a big difference. Anyway, you're going to g4, pushing rook away, and then coming closer to pawn and pushing rook. This is Anand Gelfand, actually 2012 in Moscow. Tie-break game 3, that was rapid. And at that moment, Anand was winning. He won second game in rapid and out of 4 games. And Gelfand actually could equalize the score winning this game. And here he played rook a7. Like after this game, probably no one in the world can explain what is the reason of this move, what is the meaning of this move. I just simply cannot understand. So rook a7, and then black king was just faster. If you'll take a look, rook a7, king d6, king g3, king closer, king g4, rook is coming. Then after a few more checks, that was a draw immediately. That was last chance for Gelfand to continue this match. The last game was a draw, and match was over. Anand stayed, continued his world title battles. Later, Carlsen came for him. But that was last chance for Gelfand. No more chances for him anymore. Oh, this is more complicated. This is much more complicated. What do you think about this? Black to move here. No, first of all, who is better here? Number of pawns is equal, right? White is slightly better. White has 2 bishops. Usually 2 bishops is better than your opponent doesn't have 2 bishops. And the question that black can actually win a pawn, right? So that's exactly what has happened in this game. So bishop takes c1, king takes c1, knight takes b3 check. And then actually you understand that black has double pawn, so this pawn doesn't have real matter. That is not a mistake, by the way. This is not a mistake. Here you can see the answer. Bishop takes c1. It's not a mistake, but after that, Bronstein was continuing to struggle with his 2 knights, and later he made another mistake and lost. And this is game number 23 of Botvinnik-Bronstein match, 1951. So 2 matches from the end. Bronstein is winning 1 point, and Botvinnik equalized with his game, and last game was draw, and Bronstein never had any other chances in his career. So that's how close he was. Actually, 1 move and 1 game. Next one. I am sure you have to do that. At least our YouTube viewers should know what this position is about. This time I even don't ask you actually what to do, because I have no idea what to do. This is much harder. I know this is a mistake, but I don't understand why. I've looked after that. So computer is showing that this position is very good for white, and you have to attack immediately. Something like knight c4, pushing bishop away, or doing something like this. And actually, this is a position from Carlsen Caruana, the match which has finished. Just 1 month ago, right? And Carlsen Caruana, as you remember, all games were a draw. And then they came to tiebreak, where Carlsen won all 3 games against Caruana. And this is exactly the game where Caruana played white, and he had the only one chance, actually not the only, but the last chance to win this match. In game number 8, here Caruana played h3, and if I would be in his place here, I would definitely play h3. I will make exactly the same mistake, because I really don't understand what is happening in this position, but people, grandmasters, are saying that h3 is too slow, and you have to attack immediately, and then you will have some achievements. Next one. I have feeling, let's say 10 seconds and we continue. All right, black to move. By the way, there is only one question here. Who can ask this question? It's a complicated question, by the way. What do you think black can do, or maybe cannot?
If you can take on F2.
That's a question, yeah. So black can take on f2 or cannot. That's a question. So if you take on f2, king goes probably to g2, and then is it dangerous or not? Will our knight come back, or he will die there on f2? Then knight h4, probably there are some checks. It's a very, very nice combination. That's what has happened between Carlsen and Karyakin. Game number 10, somewhere in right from the opening. And Karyakin was winning at that moment, and there are only 3 games to the end, and Karyakin missed his chance. Knight takes f2 was leading right to the draw. Many exchanges there, and just going right to the draw. He missed this chance, he played d5, and after that, he never got it anymore. Carlsen never gave it back to him, and actually this game Carlsen even won, equal the score, and after that, also, Karyakin lost on tiebreak in rapid chess. And 2 more, I think. Right, this is it. Who is better? White to move. Oh, sorry, white to move. I'm sorry, this is a mistake. White to move. Yeah, who is attacking? Who is controlling center? Who has many good pieces? It's probably white, right? So yeah, actually, I like the position of queen and bishop on these 2 squares. They're thinking that queen is doubled with rook, queen is doubled with bishop, but actually everybody is coming for a king and coming with a nice move e5 to break everything, to explode, and actually very soon in this game black were not checkmated but lost many, many pieces. Karpov-Korchnoi, Baguio 1978, and it's a very last game, 5-5 at this moment. And they played up to 6 wins. And interesting that right before this, Korchnoi won 3 games in a row. So from 5-2 to 5-5. But Karpov recuperate and came for the last game and just won it. So 6-5, that's why we know that Karpov is a great champion. e5 was the winning move, and Korchnoi actually never had any other chance. Had another match, but he was completely destroyed there. 2 more. Now here, you definitely can find the correct move. First, who is better?
Black.
Black. Number of pawns is equal, right? What do you think about different pieces? What about 2 rooks? Which rook is stronger?
White rook is strong.
White rook is stronger. What do you think, knight versus bishop? Who is better?
Actually, knight is better in this case.
Knight is not simply better. Knight is just destroying bishop. Bishop is on a white square, right, on a light square, and all pawns are on a light square. Usually it is very bad for bishop.
White
Oh,
favorite.
yeah.
So I think knight with the check on, what is that,
F7. Yeah, knight check to f7, and then king can move, and something like this. Yeah, but knight and rook together cannot checkmate. They need support. And supporter is coming, and the supporter is coming very, very fast. And that was a great move, f4. And then pawn moved to f5, then pawn moved to f6, and actually after that black king was even checkmated. Kramnik-Leko, 2004. That was the only one chance for Leko to become a world champion. Leko is leading 2-1, and this is last actually example where champion was losing before last game and saved it. And this was an absolutely brilliant game by Kramnik, and I think
so
Leko.
Black one?
No, white one.
Yeah.
So f4, then it was a few checks, f5, and pawn was going forward, and rook, knight, and pawn together organized a big, big crucifixion to the black king. And Leko was also very upset about it. And the last one. This position we will study today, even though that we have a special video dedicated to this position. Here, to all our YouTube viewers, I need to Queen h1 and? Yeah, that's it. So here in this position, white has only 2 options. either queen h1 check or queen h4 check. I can tell you one of this move is just making immediate draw. Second is immediately losing. No, not immediately, but losing. And this is a game from our hero, Carl Schlechter. Match in 1910, very last game, Schlechter is winning. And you see this like a toss a coin. There are only two possible moves here. One check or another check. He's winning 1-0. This is very last game. Draw is fine for him. He made a wrong choice. So this is our hero of the day, Carl Schlechter, great grandmaster from Vienna, actually, from Austria. And for this game specifically, I need to refer that we have special video made by Ben Feingold dedicated to World Champions title matches, and he has specific video dedicated to one game, actually, to this game. So we'll take a look a little bit on this position later, but I want to address you to that one. All right. Let's begin. So, Carl Schlechter. I need to tell you that when I came to Odessa Chess Club in 1994 and started to play there as an active tournament player, somehow it happened that Schlechter was my favorite chess player out of, like, just my favorite chess player. Like people have favorite football players, favorite basketball players. I don't know how did it happen. I didn't know much about him at that time, but maybe I just like his beautiful surname, which, by the way, means in German just worse. It's not very nice thing how to live when you have surname worse. People are just addressing you, hello, worse. It could be better or Schlechter. Yeah. Actually, that's not my joke. That's a joke of Ben Feingold. And right, he was born, as we mentioned, in 1874 in Vienna, in a very good family, and they provided pretty decent education to him. He studied in kind of, we will call it trading college. So after that, he started to work. He was a young man, like 19 years old man, and he started to work in like a trading company, import, export, something like this. But something happened in his life. Actually, he met chess. At that time, it was not a good idea to work in trading or to become a chess professional. And here you can see his match with Georg Marko. That's right. And later he became his good friend. And you can see the result of this match. That's a brilliant match, right? So after this match, Schlechter decided that probably he can become a chess professional. And he left his trading company and he started to become better and better. Now before that, yeah, so actually this was a kind of qualification for the Hastings tournament 1895. And today, actually, I want to set a few different questions and try to find answer maybe together with you. And the thing which I really want to prove that Schlechter was one of the most modern chess players ever, like players who were ahead of their times. He was like a real chess professional of our modern time, not a chess professional of 19th century or 20th, beginning of the 20th century. So here Schlechter Marko, and you can see, I was searching a lot online and I was looking for different matches. There are only 2 matches in the history of chess, probably, maybe I didn't find, who ended with something similar. This is the second one. You can see a big difference, right? We have added 2 draws in the end. And so not 10 draws, 12 draws. And Carlsen Caruana, so here you can already imagine that Schlechter and Marko were closer to current chess professionals of beginning of 21st century than any other of the time. Because at the time people were winning against each other and making brilliant games and sacrifices and something like that. So here I want to show you 2 games from his young times. Let me set up the position. Probably you will like some of them. First of them is game between actually good also Austrian chess master Fleissig, and probably that was Blitz. People right now cannot believe actually that 1893 actually when they play this game. They played Blitz games, but it happened. All right, first I want to show you the first move of this game. Schlechter is playing black. By the way, we can swap, but probably for me it's easier. What would you play versus b4 if you will need it? No, actually you can play whatever you want. Everything is not so bad, and actually Sokolsky or orangutan opening is not really bad. So interesting that people really played it in 19th century. We just don't know about it. But sometimes it happens. So b4, e6, bishop d2, absolutely normal opening. Right now, at least black cannot take on b4. I hope you understand it. What will happen if we take on b4? Take on g7, and probably this rook is more valuable, right? So let's go back a little bit. This didn't happen, so knight f6, a3, override, a3, c5. Very good for blitz, right? We're trying to play sharp. We're trying to be aggressive. Let's continue what will happen. b5. Actually, this is the main idea of Sokolsky opening. Pawn is going to b5, trying to prevent knight from, wait a second, trying to prevent knight from going either to c6 or a6, right? Right now, these two squares are prohibited. Now, if we cannot use our knight, let's go for d5, d4. You know, everything looks normal, but d4 is a little bit dangerous. What do you think next move is for black? Come on, give me ideas. It will be faster.
Take on d4.
Take on d4, another.
b6.
Possible. b6 is great. Something more aggressive. We're Schlechter. We are, what, 19 years old.
c4.
c4 is great. Something else?
Queen a5 check.
Queen a5 check. Why not? I'm sorry, this is a pawn. It's sweet. Why not? Let's go. Knight. Yeah, queen a5 check, knight c3. Actually, I would play, of course, bishop c3 and sacrifice this pawn, but then we'll have nothing really interesting. Continue. 19 years old. We are playing chess only for 4 years at the moment. We don't have many options. We are just 94, of course. Let's go. That's a trouble. Yeah. Actually, what are options for white? Oh my God, it's almost lost. Yeah. Well, let's play queen d3. Actually, I don't know any other moves. Any other move here for white? Take it. It's a trouble. Probably need to take. Next idea. Bishop c5. Looks terrible, right? No, wait a second. White also should have something for it.
Oh.
Queen takes g7. Okay. You take me, I take you. Let's make a battle. Bishop takes, check. Well, I have feeling there is only one legal move here.
Yes.
And now it's a brilliant move, like 19th century. It's a brilliant time. People were playing romantic. Let's go. Seriously. d4. Knight can take knight. Can it? Can we take a knight?
Yes.
Ah,
No, because queen e1.
queen e1 checkmate, right? So let me put this knight back. Boy, not so much, not so far back. It's a terrible thing. So yeah, no, all right. If we cannot take knight, if we cannot survive, let's take something. That's a rook. I'm sorry. Not every day. No, king is 7, right? And once again, we don't have a big choice here. Ideas? No, queen takes c8 probably, right? The more we take, the better we'll be. No, take the knight. Sure. King is like under big trouble here. No, bishop c1 is probably the only one choice. Feel the 19th century. Make an next one. Make a next one. How many pieces white actually has right now in a game?
One.
Yeah, queen is playing. Sometimes in a game of beginners you can see that one queen is just playing versus whole bunch of pieces of his opening. It's hard to play, right?
Bishop to f4.
Yeah, you're trying to win
Bishop
immediately.
to
You're trying.
f4.
Can we get rid of this queen somehow? I don't like this queen. It
White
is,
queen?
yeah, white queen is protecting something, can go back to c4, can do something. Let's offer,
Let's give him a rook to take.
yeah, take this rook. Go away to the corner. I don't need you. No, what should we do? Let's take. If we don't take this rook, rook will come to d8. That will be just a disaster. Correct? No, now we also need to take something. We gave rook, we gave bishop, we gave rook. Time to take pawn. I think that's a very good opportunity. No? On the other side, if you'll take a look closer to the white's king, it looks like he will not survive for a long time. No, that's what exactly happened. Bishop f4, we're still developing this poor bishop, second time. Check, looks correct. I have a feeling that there is only one move. Any other ideas? How did we finish?
You can also give bishop.
No, what is the dream for white? I think the dream for white is to develop something. Somebody, knight or bishop, no, somebody. Let me develop at least second piece.
Oh, knight.
That's a very beautiful move here for black. Extremely beautiful. Take this bishop.
If you take the bishop,
If you don't, let's say, if we don't take the bishop, we have to move to b1, right? And then I have feeling that must be like queen check and queen checkmate. That's a very fast. We don't have a choice. Now, that's a task. Find the next one.
Knight of 2.
Knight of 2. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. We are offering another knight. Take everything. I don't need anything. Just go on. No, first of all, there's a checkmate coming on d1, right?
yeah.
So not a big choice. And once again, if we'll go here, there's a check and checkmate on b2. So no, let's go and take it. And then queen d2 check. Only one legal move.
Queen d1.
Queen d1 check. King goes here. Queen c2. Well, look at the final position. I think it's remarkable.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that white has some extra pieces, but they don't really help. Right? It's a disaster, but yeah, of course, Fleissig was not a very bad player, but this game was awful. And I really hope that I will show you something better today than this. But still it's amazing, right? Queen takes c2 check. Actually, in Italian town Marostica, there is a chess festival where they're organizing live performances. So a huge on the main square of this town, and a huge chess board, and people are acting as a chess pieces. So this game was the very first game chosen for that festival. I think this has some reasons, because this is really beautiful. Do I like Schlechter so much, and what has happened in his life a little bit later? So 1895, it was the greatest tournament in Hastings, and for me it's actually a bit surprise that Schlechter was invited there, and he played pretty well for 22 years old player, and then later, but still he got 9th place and no prize. And 1896 in Nuremberg, you can see so many players are playing here. Actually 5 of them are organizers. Nobody knows their names, but all the rest are fine. So Nuremberg 1896, first prize, but here that doesn't mean that he actually got a first prize. It means that for the first time he got a prize in his life. So he became a chess professional in 1894 and got first money in 1896. It's quite a complicated life when you are choosing to become a professional and you really think that you will live out of your prizes. Well, here, there's a task. Our YouTube viewers, you can pause and take a look closer at the faces in this picture. Try to find out some lovely people, participants in this tournament. But I have only one question here. Where do you think Schlechter and world champion Lasker are in this picture? It's hard to say, right? You probably don't see them pretty well. This is, for example, this is Harry Nelson Pillsbury from the United States. He's the only one without beard and mustache.
From this side.
It's very easy to find him
From
this
this
picture.
side, it's fourth.
Actually, he's third. This is Schlechter wearing a hat. And this is Lasker. World champion on a picture is somewhere in the side. Looks pretty strange. Usually they let him to sit in the middle, but here is an ex-champion Steinitz, first world champion. He's already pretty old. He's sitting. That's correct. But what is interesting in this photo for me, I found that Lasker and Schlechter are only two people in this picture who are looking somewhere else. They don't look at the camera at all. They're maybe thinking about chess at that moment. That's why they're so good. All the rest are not. Let's continue. So first prize he won, actually that was not a big prize, and sad story, he won 5 games here, lost 2, and both games he lost, he had absolutely winning position in both of them. It was very sad, and you see, he played very many games here and lost only 2. And later, that's exactly what has happened to him. He was uncrowned king, the king of draws. Too many draws here, some more pictures of his professional life, 1904, he's going up, his mustache are longer. Some more people are sitting and playing chess. Yeah, he's coming from one tournament to another tournament. Here's Milan Chess Club. I wanted to mention that after the tournament in Monte Carlo 1902, Schlechter was second, I think, in this tournament. He was never first. You know, he got many second places and third places and many more fourth places. Well, on the other side, he was never bad. He was never in the bottom of the table. And right with how chess professionals lived in the time period when he moved back from Monte Carlo to Vienna, he was invited by Milan Chess Club to visit them. You know, at that time there were not so many chess masters, and for example in Italy there were none, 0. So anybody who were passing by, they could come to us, give lecture, simultaneous, something else. And according to memories of people who participated in Milan Chess Club at that time, it was very strange how Schlechter acted comparing to all the chess professionals they have ever met before that. Because when Schlechter just arrived to the Milan Chess Club and there were no strong players, immediately what he first asked for, guess what was that?
Who would be the strongest player?
Hmm?
Who would be the strongest player there?
Ooh.
Events that are happening there?
That's more or less correct, but he asked it in a little bit different way. He asked,
Here's it has the best rating.
a rating? Seriously? That's a good idea. No, they didn't have ratings. It's, by the way, a very interesting question. We will come back to it right now. He asked, can I play a chess game with somebody now? That's a brilliant. You are coming out right from a train station, walking to the chess club. Give me an opponent. I want to play. So he really liked to play. That's probably the only one way to be a chess professional at that time. And I have a strong feeling it's very sad to be a chess professional if you don't like to play chess right now. You know, I have seen some chess grandmasters who really didn't have any pleasure.
What?
Yeah, it's just a profession, nothing more. I'm studying opening for 5 hours a day and something like this, but I don't have a pleasure when I play. Probably without this pleasure, it's quite a sad profession. Yeah, this is it. Let's continue. Maybe one more thing to reveal what kind of person he was. Another way. So how people actually made money at the time, simultaneous, and our young future master probably ask about ratings at the time. That's a good thing. No one knows how strong those players were. That's quite strange, because if you will take a look online and try to find what kind of ratings Lasker had, or what kind of rating Alekhine had, or Capablanca, the great world champion, how strong they were. It's very hard to compare, because they were playing with other players of that time, and it's not very easy to find. And interesting that I found, for example, one source right now, one site where there's different graphs going up, going down, showing how far away, and I don't believe any of those graphs. Either they are showing that players were very weak, or they are showing that players were very strong. For example, I found that Lasker had his top rating of 2650 or something like that. I can believe in this very easily, but that was another Lasker. Not Emanuel Lasker, the world champion, and not even an Edward Lasker, who probably is well known here in the United States, famous chess master. That was Berthold Lasker. I even said, like, who? I started to check, who was that? That was elder brother of Emanuel Lasker, who almost never played in tournaments. How can you say that this player was playing level of 2650, which is like a reasonable grandmaster even now? So yeah, if you want to evaluate how strong those players were, this is it. You can see the simultaneous and actually blindfolded simultaneous. Schlechter is playing with 7 strong amateurs in a Vienna chess club. It's 1898, as I remember. And he won 4 and drew 3 out of 7 games. Like Timur Gariev, American grandmaster right now, set up the new blindfold record. I don't remember how many games he played, very many.
68 games.
Oh my God, 68. It sounds absolutely incredible, but if you ask me, can I play 7, like in my level? One time in my life I played 3. That was very complicated. And I was very lucky that one of my opponents lost in 12 moves and another lost in 15 moves. Then it was much easier to play third game. Yeah, but that was very complicated. But here you can see Vienna is Vienna. Probably it's much easier to play blindfold chess if you have a good mug of beer in front of you. Right now people don't play this way. And he was also another thing, people were smoking. And Schlechter was a very, very heavy smoker. He was smoking cigars, and this is one of the reasons why he didn't live longer. Let's continue, right? So Schlechter is playing better and better without real one tournament we can mention that he's just became much better. But he played a few matches. At the time people were playing matches and starting from a match with Marco. Then he played some more. Interesting that all of that matches were drawn. That was one of the reasons why he got this title of a king of draws. And here, yeah, you can see that Janowski, who was a very strong player at the time, and in 1902 Janowski actually won the biggest tournament of the year. And right after that he played a match with Schlechter, and for the big surprise for everyone, Schlechter won it very easily. And then everybody started to realize that probably Schlechter is a pretty good player. And then it started some discussions who is the next candidate to play with Lasker, Emanuel Lasker here, the world champion. And Lasker, who didn't play any matches for 8 years, started to play with different opponents. He played with Tarash, then he played with Marshall, then he played actually with Janowski. All these 3 matches he won very decisively, just one way. Actually, his scores were 8-0, 8-0, and 8-3. Like his opponents were just absolutely out of his league. And in 1906, Schlechter actually won a tournament for the first time, a very big tournament in Ostend, and that was probably one of the most complicated and strange systems in the history of chess. There were 4 groups, and then out of that 4 groups, they played like 11 different small tournaments to come to the final. And it was very funny that in one of these groups, chess master Swiderski won all games but didn't come to the final. I never heard of this system before, but it's interesting. You really play in a small tournament, winning all games, but you are not good enough to come to the final. I will show you this later if you want. Yeah, so after games, the tournaments in 1906 and 1907 in Ostend, there was a tournament in St. Petersburg, and actually Lasker already agreed that he will play next year with Schlechter in the world title match. But to St. Petersburg, Schlechter came very sick. And actually, this is a picture from the tournament. It's a very funny picture. It's a very funny picture. Here I have a book. I used the only one book about Carl Schlechter in Russian. And there are not so many in English as well. I don't read German, that's a problem, I know, but that's the best I could find, and I'm trying to share my best. Interesting that online I was searching all over to find the correct picture. The question, who is the third guy? You know, if you will really search online, you will try to find, this is the only one way you can find this picture. But here in this book, I can present, this guy was one of the organizers or referees of the St. Petersburg tournament. His name is Chudovsky. That's very nice that we know his name, because right now it looks really sick that we have a person without a head. Right, standing next to them, and we have no idea who was that. No, it was very, by the way, handsome young man. So yeah, Schlechter played very badly in St. Petersburg. He got played somewhere in the middle, but he was sick. And there's another interesting story about Schlechter in this tournament, actually exactly about this game. This game was in the very first round, and Lasker came late. He came late for half an hour, and after the very first move, Schlechter made and went away to the garden. And then he was walking there for the next half an hour, looking at the clock, just checking, is it half an hour already or not? And after half an hour, he came back and continued to play. And after the game, he said that I do not need any handicap. It was a draw, of course, as always for Schlechter. He said, I do not require any handicap, even from champion of the world. It was a kind of inner justice he was seeking no matter what. And actually, in all his career, he never came late for any single game. People are emphasizing on that. Oh, Lasker and Janowski, what has happened actually? So Lasker and Schlechter agreed that next year they are playing, and then Janowski is coming, I have money. I'm serious, that's exactly how it happens at that time. So he had a good sponsor, his friend of his, somewhere in Monte Carlo, where Janowski was usually playing in all casinos and losing all his prizes. And right before the match of Schlechter, Lasker said, okay, money is good. Let Janowski give a chance. And actually he gave him a chance. It was 8-0. Terrible game, but Schlechter probably was disappointed, but he was a very, very polite person. He never said anything. The only thing what he said about this, actually there's a quote, he said, I do not support current system for the world title matches, that's all. If he was upset, that's exactly one way he revealed. 1907, by the way, yeah, the tournament here mentioned, Ostend 1906, Schlechter won. In 1907, he didn't win the tournament. You can see the Siegbert Tarasch won, Schlechter came second, and here I want to tell you one more short story about the second round game. You can see this draw between Tarasch and Schlechter in the second round, and I want to show you one position. Well, the main idea of that game, later I will edit it up here, that Schlechter had a very, very good position, but Tarasch felt sick. He had kind of maybe heart attack or something like that, and Schlechter offered him draw immediately. It's very unusual for current professionals, a position where he was absolutely dominating. There's nothing really happened, it's just a final position, where he had very, very, nothing really decisive, but it's one way position. Sorry for this, I didn't find it. So, the most important question when we are coming, finally in 1910, they agreed and they started to organize, and actually it was between Vienna and Berlin, their home cities, of Schlechter and Lasker. The Vienna Chess Club provided 3,000 krona as a prize and 2,000 marks from Berlin club, from Lasker. And idea was to play 30 games. And the question, maybe the most famous question here, was there a secret clause? Because reglement and what were exactly the rules for this match were never published, so we don't know about it. And what does it mean, secret clause? That's actually story behind. Game number 10, very last game, so here I have to show it. You remember this game, so the game where actually Schlechter could easily draw, but he missed it and finally lost. And there was a question why Schlechter was so much aggressive and what he was looking for. And both of the players played for win in the very last game. Over here. And I think I have found the answer. I was searching for a very long time, and I have a good explanation. So an explanation is coming from the next match, which Lasker played with Capablanca in 1911. Capablanca formally asked about the conditions for the next match, the financial conditions for the first time. And Lasker answered, and Capablanca agreed to all points in their agreement except one. And the agreement was that if somebody will win the match 1 point ahead, and actually it was 1-0, 2-1, or 3-2, then money will be split 50-50. So if you want to win, then it was a big surprise for me. I was starting to study this question closer, and interesting that at that time people were playing matches, winner takes it all. So Lasker really won all money, and he really was asking for a lot of stakes for real. So that was a stake from Vienna Chess Club versus stake from Berlin Chess Club, and winner takes all. If the match is going draw, or if one of the players will get advantage of only 1 point, then they split. And before the last game, Schlechter was winning 1 point, and being a chess professional, for him that was very important to win the final game and get 2 times more money. It's the only one source of living was for him, and he really didn't think that it's very important to provide. Actually, interesting that this version was never, I didn't find it in English-speaking internet at all. So probably it was not taken seriously. And I strongly believe this is something what is getting us closer to what exactly has happened between them. So Schlechter was playing not for the world chess title of the champion of the world. He was playing for another 1,000 mark and 1,500 krona. Little quiz. Right after the match, I want to show you a few games if we have time. But after the match, there was another congress of German council, Schach, something US, Deutsche Schachbundes. Small question, the quiz. So after big upset actually for Schlechter, because he was really upset and he was sick right after the world chess title match. Next tournament he won. It was one of the best his tournaments ever, so all the best players except Lasker were there, and he has beaten all of them. Little quiz, who else in the history of chess won his best ever tournament right after his biggest upset? So the world title match, the player lost it, and right after that he won his best ever tournament and probably one of the strongest tournaments in history of chess, okay, at least of that time. No, actually you mentioned already. So in 1972 Fischer has beaten Spassky. And Spassky, who didn't play that match really well, right after that with all his power and all he didn't waste on Fischer, let's say, came to 1973 USSR National Championship and won it. And this was really extremely strong tournament. So everybody played there. Petrosyan, Smyslov, Tal, Karpov, who later became world champions. So that was extremely strong tournament and best tournament ever Spassky won. And actually after that he never won anything serious. Oh, coming closer. So here are 3 other tournaments. I don't have little time. There'll be probably next lecture about it. San Sebastian, 1911, 1912. He didn't play really well in the tournaments, and it became harder for him to win. But Carlsbad 1911 was fine. He started with 7 wins in a row. Not so bad for king of draws. And here you can see the winner in the middle, Richard Teichmann. That was best his tournament in his life. And Viktor Tits, the organizer of the tournaments, who invented the prize system distribution. Yes, money was distributed in these tournaments under Tits system. That's also kind of person need to be mentioned. And that was a very big tournament. 26 players played there, and very many young players. And Schlechter probably already realized that too many strong young masters are coming, and that was maybe one of his last big successful tournaments. He got second place, shared second, third place with Rubinstein. What I mean by dress code here, if you will take a look at them, they look pretty similar and pretty amazing. And right now, we had a very nice discussion on Facebook with Emil Sutovsky on his page, the new director of FIDE. And he right now was an organization for World Rapid and Blitz Championship. And there was a big discussion, what does it mean smart casual? And very many players really didn't want to go and play if they will not be allowed to play in jeans. It's very strange to me, but it looks like for many chess professionals of our time to feel comfortable is more important than to be good looking. At that time you can see that Schlechter was always like on the top level. But as you may know, probably this is 1911, another very, very big chess match. Taras, who was a leader of German chess. You can see a picture of him here. So it's exactly how people in Vienna were thinking about Taras, the teacher. He was always telling others what is right and what is wrong. And even you can see how he's sitting here. And Schlechter really wanted to play another match with Lasker. And to do so, he had to beat Schlechter, and he didn't do that. You can see that Schlechter drew again. No matter what you do, it is going to draw. That was a great match. There's also a few nice games there. And very, very soon, 1914, St. Petersburg, early 1914. These are finalists, maybe you can call them.
Lasker on the left.
Lasker on the left. Who is on the right?
Schlechter on the right. Von
This one.
I think so.
You know, this is not Schlechter, that's exactly Dr. Taras. Yeah. And here you can see the new generation. Oh, Frank Marshall from United States. This was his good tournament, and he was still young, you can see that. And 2 future world champions, Capablanca and a very young Alekhine. That's probably his very first big success. Schlechter was very lucky. He had a very good score with Alekhine, but he was 17 years old only. It was a good try. And the question, where is Schlechter actually? He didn't come to St. Petersburg. He was invited, of course. They organized a very, very strong tournament. He was invited, and Schlechter was a chess professional, and he really felt that his power is not same as it was a few years before. So actually, he just didn't go there. He came to the local tournament, got 3rd place here, got some money, and he took care of his old mother, trying to spend more time with her in Vienna. And actually, that was his last chance to participate in such a great tournament, because right after that, in 1914, started World War I. And that was very hard for everybody, especially Austro-Hungarian Empire participated heavily in this. And You can see that somewhere close to the end of this war, Schlechter played another match with a new growing star, Rubinstein, and this was the only one match in his life he has lost. It's also a great match. And you can see how old he is here, how old looking, right? He's sitting right here. And that's the last tournament he played in Berlin in 1918, right after that. So all best were invited. That was the only one tournament in his life where he didn't win any single game. But still wasn't last. And Schlechter and Tarrasch sitting here, they had a very hard life under World War I. Tarrasch, for example, lost 3 sons on that war. And Schlechter came absolutely sick and malnourished, and you can see, and well, guess how old is he on this picture?
60.
44.
Gee, he died.
He is 44 and he died 2 months right after that tournament. And actually, Lasker is 6 years older than him and Tarrasch is 10 years older than him. It's very hard to believe when you look at Schlechter in this picture. So it was a very hard time. And during World War I, he was mostly participating in local tournaments. And to say what kind of life it was, that one fan of chess provided a special prize for players in one of these local tournaments. He provided a pound of butter. It was a special prize for a winner. So even not in money. So pound of butter was pretty good price at that moment. What is really amazing, I was reading very many different quotes about Schlechter, and Schlechter never said anything in public being published about other people. Just never. And no one ever said any bad word about him. Any single. So he was just a perfect gentleman and great chess master. For example, in one of the tournaments, another short story right before that, the young Grigory Levenfish, who came to the tournament in Carlsbad, in almost the last round, and Schlechter had to win that game, and position was absolutely equal. And after the game, so Levenfish made a few mistakes and finally lost. And after the game, Schlechter asked him, "Why didn't you offer a draw?" And Levenfish said, "I couldn't. This was a very important game for you." And Schlechter said, like, "In absolutely equal position, I cannot refuse a draw." So as Levenfish said, he was the only one chess player of that time who didn't squeeze out points from his opponents. And in 1918, exactly 100 years ago, he went from Vienna to Budapest, which is pretty close, to try to make not even some money, but to find some food. It was very, very hard to find it there. And on Christmas Eve, he wanted to come back to Vienna, and right on the railway station, he was robbed. See, he has lost all his goods and money, and it was really terrible. So he came back to the hotel, and Budapest Chess Club helped him a lot and provided all possible help. But he got sick, and in 2 days he died. They put him in a hospital, but he was absolutely malnourished. He weighed like, I don't know how many that in pounds, but it was like 50 kilograms, which is 14 years old girl is weighing. Yes. Yeah, that was very, very hard for him. And after that, only doctors diagnosed tuberculosis and pneumonia. So he had all of this in one, and he never even tried to do something with that. Thank you very much. I think it is hard to have a lecture with games and biography in the same time. Probably next time we'll have more games. Thank you, and see you next time.